So that is Italian beef sandwich made Chicago style. Just look at that. Hi everyone, welcome to Backyard Chef. I'm Rick. Today we're doing Chicago beef Italian style. We're doing a quick Italian beef Chicago style, and we're going to do a quick giardiniera. I'm going to show you how to make it quickly. It will be completed and we can serve it up within 4 hours. The beef, we're doing the beef in the Instant Pot. It takes 60 minutes, that's all. 1 hour. 1 hour for perfectly flaky, tender beef. We're using a tough cut of beef. We're using beef chuck, and we're going to make a fantastic Italian beef sandwich and giardiniera in about 4 hours. And it's only taking 4 hours because we want to marinate all the flavors together in the giardiniera and cool it down in the fridge so we can serve it up. So let's crack on and show you how to make this super quick, very tasty Italian beef sandwich and giardiniera. Now, if you like this video, don't forget the big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell. Come on, let's get on. Okay, we have to make up a brine. In there I've got 2 cups of water, and we're going to go in there with our salt, and then I'm going to put in 2 different types of vinegar. Now I'm going to use white vinegar and apple cider vinegar, but you know, you can just use one or the other. You could just use white vinegar, but I prefer to use apple cider normally, but I'm showing you both today just so you can see that we can use either. Okay, for our giardiniera then, I have bog standard ingredients: cauliflower, celery, I've got fresh chilies, I've got a red bell pepper, some olives and some carrots. All the bog standard stuff. We're going to cube them all up small. I've got jalapenos in a jar, but I'm using fresh chilies because I couldn't get any jalapenos fresh. Okay, so we're not going to bore you with all the ingredients, chopping everything. I'll just show you a couple of things. We're going to cut through the chilies. We want some slices, some nice little rounds of chili in our giardiniera. Just like that, as easy as that. Chuck them in a bowl. Everything's going to go in the same bowl. Job done. Okay, so I'll just whisk through all of these and then we'll get on with some more veg. So again, we don't want the ends. Even though the ends are okay, we're just going to slice through. That's it. Okay, job done. Okay, our celery is exactly the same. I've already washed and cleaned it, and all we need to do now is slice it thinly. Everything's got to be about the same size. Just slice it up, chuck it in the same bowl. So nice and straightforward, straight through there, slice it up. So our red bell pepper, just skin it round. We don't want the seeds or anything, and then we're just going to cube that as well. It's all straightforward and easy. So nice and steady, just cube it up. Come through and then come through into cubes. We want everything about the same size, just for presentation in our pickle. If it all looks the same, it's going to look great. So again, straight through and then just dice it. So that's our veg in there, look. That's quite a lot of good veg, nicely cubed up, and we got some olives. Now what I am going to do, I'm actually going to half the olives. It's going to look more. It'll look more when we make our pickle. So I'm going to half all the olives and chuck them. In fact, I'm going to put them in the same bowl. I'm going to keep them in the same bowl because they're already pickled. We don't need to actually cook those. So that's our olives done. All we got to do now is some carrots. Get on with the carrots. Trim the ends off, tops and bottoms, and then we will just fine dice them through as well. So we've got all the little fine dices. Nice and straightforward. So all we're going to do is come through on our carrots. Nice and fine diced carrots. That's all it is. Just dice them fine and chuck them in the same bowl as the rest of the veg. Nice and steady, just watch your fingers. So we got quite a lot of veg in there. On with the cauliflower. Now the cauliflower, we're just going to cut round the heart in the centre, and it's going to pop open all the florets, and then we're going to cut the florets into smaller florets, so we have quite a lot of florets in our mix. Okay, for our cauliflower then, nice and steady, we've cut the heart out of the big cauliflower. We're just cutting the hearts out of the florets now to make smaller florets. So we don't want that stalk, and we're getting these little florets already, look, and that's what we want. Just trim it up. Okay, our brown mix has been boiled. The salt's all dissolved, that is it there. And then all we have to do is we have to go in there with a good tablespoon of dried oregano. Get that in, and that's going to rehydrate in there. And we just need to be going in there with some black pepper. And then we're just going to give it a stir in. Just stir it all in, and it will eventually just sink into the liquid and rehydrate. Okay, the next job for us, boil up a pan of water. Once you've got it boiling, in there with our veg. Get it all in. We'll submerge it all in there, and we need to bring it back to the boil. You're going to boil for 2 minutes. Okay, it's just a 2-minute boil, that's all it is. It's like blanching the veg. Off with the flame, and then we are going to plunge this into cold water to stop it from cooking. So just get all the veg in, plunge it in, stop it from cooking. Next job, we have to get our brine, which has cooled down, in another tub. We're going to put it in a bowl, and then we're going to put our veg into that and submerge our veg. So we just want to get our veg in, and that is our pickle mixture. This is a very, very quick, easy brine. You know, we've softened the veg already, which would take overnight if you were just salting it. We've already done the job. It's so quick. Get it all in that brine and get it submerged. So that's our veg all submerged in our brine. We're just going to give that about 2 hours on the side, and then we're going to put it in the fridge. Okay, next job, we've got this lovely chuck roast. You know, it's not the best quality meat, but you know, it's going to be sliced up when it's cooked. It's perfect for this kind of dish. Right, we want salt. And people are going to go, whoa, salt. Yeah, salt. We need to season our meat properly now. It's going to be seared off, and then it's going to sit submerged in a pressure cooker. It's not going to be all that much on there. On there with some black pepper. Give it a good seasoning. In there. We just need to keep this simple. It doesn't need no fancy herbs on here. You know, it wants salt and pepper, and then we're going to herb up the actual juice inside the instant pot. That is going to make it our flavoured gravy, which this is going to cook in, but we need to sear this off. Put in whatever oil you use. This is canola oil. Flame on. As soon as you've got your pan warm enough, in there with your meat and start searing. Don't be frightened about colouring it. Leave it 2 or a couple of minutes. Don't worry. Get that brown sear on. A good sear. Okay, I'm just going to turn that off a second, just because we're working in a small area. That goes in our instant pot. Straight in there. That residual heat in that oil, in with that garlic. You do not even have to put this pan back on. Just give that a little sizzle, we want it out and in our instant pot. There we We want that in there. We're just going to go in there with our beef broth. Now we are not cooking this any length of time. We are just soaking up what's on the bottom of that pan into this beef broth, and we're going to chuck it in there. To this I'm going to add a tablespoon of oregano. I'm going to add some black pepper, some onion powder, and you can put garlic powder in as well. Okay, just quickly in the garden, I've got some rosemary there, and we've got some basil. I'm going to put that basil leaves in there as well. We're keeping it Italian, you know. So these are small basil leaves, but we're just going to give that a little mix in there. I think we want a couple of bay leaves in there. That'll do. That has to go over the beef. The beef has to be submerged. Okay, in there with all our goodness. So I just want a little bit of more water in there. That'll do. And then that's going straight in the Instant Pot. We're going to cook it on high pressure for 60 minutes. After 60 minutes, we're going to let it pressure release itself naturally for 15 minutes, and then we'll release it. So that goes in there. The lid goes on. Up the time to 60. I'm going to do 65 minutes. 65 minutes, leave it alone, it will do its own thing. Okay, there we go, it's cooked in there. Now that is just going to slowly release for 15 minutes. Take the lid off. Okay, we're going to take that out of there, onto there. Try and keep it together. And that comes out of there, onto there. And that is our fantastic meat. Right, we've got to let that cool completely. We have a salty brine in there. Okay, it's a salty vinegar brine. We've made it quickly. You know, we haven't salted it 24 hours, drained it off, rinsed it off, tipped the vinegar brine on. We've made a quick brine. So we have to be taking some of that out of there and putting in here. We're going to make it quickly, look. Okay, so we're going to take that out of there, into there. Now this, like I say, is a quick way. If you eat this now, this is quite salty. And it has that vinegar in there. Don't worry about it. This is just a quick way. Right, we've got that in there. Want a little bit of that brine. Not much, just enough to keep that vinegary in there, and then we need to be going in there with our olive oil. That is ready for bottling. Okay, we've got two fantastic bowls of Giardiniera there. Then what you do, you take yourself a nice sterile jar and you put that in there. And then in there with our brine mix, our brine and olive oil. Seal up the top, and then we've got this fantastic jar of Giardiniera there, and that is going to go in the fridge, cool down, completely cold. Let it cold a couple of hours, we can use it, we can eat it. We've done a quick cook on it, we've softened it quickly, we're boiling it, ice cold water. You know, it's the same as brining overnight, but we've done it all in one day. So that's our beef. It's been cool in there, you know, since it came out the Instant Pot. Now the choice is yours. This is soft meat, okay? So you can actually just pull it apart with a fork if you so wish, and have fork tender meat like that to go in your sandwich. Not a problem. you can try, and it is a try because it's so soft, to have some slicers. Now I'm using a knife, but you know, if you had a deli slicer, you could do it with a deli slicer. But there you go, you get the idea. That's slicing beautifully, actually. That is phenomenal. Look at that. All from a cheap cut of meat. It's beef chuck. That is absolutely incredible. So there you go. 60 minutes in the Instant Pot. And you've got this fall apart, super duper tender meat. There is no need to cook it for hours and hours and hours. Pressure cooker, 60 minutes, finished. Couple of bread rolls, and I've just sliced them down the middle. That's all. This is the gravy out of the Instant Pot. Okay, we've got it on a pan, and all we're doing is giving it a little bit of a cook, just to thicken it slightly. You can see we've still got the bay leaves in there, but not to worry, we're not bothered about that. We'll leave them in. So we're going to go for some of this super duper sliced meat, like that, and we're going to submerge that in our gravy. As soon as you've got your meat hot enough with the gravy enough, turn it off. Let's put it sandwiched together. So that's our bread. It's nicely toasted. Let's split it open. On there, straight on there. Oh, look at that. That is absolutely fabulous. On there with our beef. And we want to be getting this on there. Pile it on. Just look at that. That is Italian beef sandwich made. That is superb. What we've got to do now is get dug in. We're coming in here. It's gonna squash everywhere. Oh. Oh. That is absolutely flipping amazing. So how do you eat it? You get a bowl of your gravy and you dip in, and then you and it goes everywhere. That is absolutely incredible. Get all that on there. We are going to be covered. That is absolutely incredible. Instant Pot, 60 minutes, beef cooked, not a problem. We got a fantastic beef broth gravy in there that had all our herbs and spices in. It's delicious. Our Giardiniera, it's not Giardiniera, that's a flower. Our Giardiniera, it's salty, it's got that vinegar taste, it's a bit peppery, it's got a little bit of heat from those chilies. It's fantastic, and we haven't waited 48 hours. Obviously it's going to get better, stored in the fridge. The flavour's going to develop, but I can tell you now, if you got that on a sandwich, you would not have a clue. So that is Italian beef sandwich made Chicago style right here. That qualifies as one of the best messy sandwiches in the world. That is delicious. So don't forget, if you like what we're doing, give it the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell. We'll catch you in the next video.